'cause we needed a quorum.
Are we good? All right. Call to order this meeting for July 23rd, 2025. Do we have any conflicts with any of the agenda items?
I do not.
I don't.
Nope.
All right. So we'll go on for approval of the minutes from June 18th, 2025 and July 2nd, 2025. I believe we are waiting on the June 18th because David, you had a comment on that. Am I correct on that?
Oh, yeah, there was, okay.
All right.
So, yeah, so the ones ones you sent us were the corrected ones?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll move to approve the minutes from June 18th, 2025.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
I'll move to approve the minutes from July 2nd, 2025.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passed. All right, and we will move to number 4, public hearings to consider comments regarding public open space subdivision requirements. And then Shane's gonna give us kind of a breakdown.
All right. Do you want me to do that before we move to the public hearing, probably, yeah?
Yeah, oh, I guess it doesn't matter if we have a motion right now or before he reads this or after. And then make a motion, okay.
All right, the purpose is to ensure new housing development fairly contribute to parkland and open space, adjust requirements based on zoning and subdivision size, promote long-term recreational needs, and quality of life. When does this apply? All residential subdivisions of 3 or more lots, parkland dedication for subdivisions greater than or equal to 10 acres, developers must dedicate land to the city for public parks. Minimum dedication as a percentage of gross subdivision area. For rural estates, no requirement. A1, R1, R1A, 1.5%, R2, 3%, R3, PUD, MPD at 4.5%. And land use must be usable, accessible, and free of major encumbrances. The fee in lieu of parkland component of this discussion, required for subdivision under 10 acres or where land dedication is impractical. It may be used for large subdivisions in special cases, nearby, like a nearby park exists already. Fee equals fair market value of the land that would have been dedicated, and land value is set by a city fee table or appraisal if approved by the city. The extra open space for high density or clustered projects like PUDs and MPDs, additional 5% gross area must be set aside for usable private or shared open space, and it must be centrally located or accessible, improved with trails, gardens, seating, etc., and maintained by a HOA or a similar entity. Credits for natural areas or trails may count towards requirements if it's part of the city open space network or improved and publicly accessible. How this will be administered, requirements be reviewed during subdivision approval. Fee in lieu payments go to a park reserve fund for parkland and facility improvements.
All right.
Where did this come from?
Yeah, it's just a breakdown.
Yeah, it's kind of a summary of what we
Summary,
kind of put together last meeting.
Yeah. All right, I just need a motion to go into public hearing.
I'll move to open the public hearing to consider comments regarding the public open space subdivision requirements.
Can I get a second?
Oh, I'll second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, we'll move into public hearing now. If anyone wants to say anything
Come on,
or
Dan,
do
you're
anything.
public. Or John, sorry. I just called him Dan.
All right, I just need to make a motion to close it now.
I'll move to close the public hearing.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll move to close the public hearing part. Now we'll just go right into it. I did look over it, and I think really the only questions I had was on the percentages. If we were cool on that, that's what we had really kind of discussed last time. We went over all of the other stuff. Does anybody else want to go over it, or are you guys still pretty comfortable?
I still feel pretty good about where we left off.
We should probably bring Cecily up to speed on it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So we're good with the 1.5% for A1, R1, 1.5, R2, 3, and then R3, 4.5%. Because I think that was the only thing that we were kind of going over, but then, yeah, I'm totally fine with all that stuff now too. Weston?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, everybody good with that?
Just looking for a motion, I guess, huh?
Yeah, so I think we just need to make this as a recommendation to go to city council, correct? Okay. If I can get that.
I'll move to recommend the public open space subdivision requirements to the city council as presented.
All right, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Go ahead and move on to number 6, short-term rental discussion. So I did have a couple things on this. Let's see, I guess on the second page under D, public parkland dedication, it just says 1.5% of the gross area. That's just kind of what we went over there, so that's not really a question anymore for me. Yeah, it's what, Dan just said, yeah. I think it is. Wait, will you scroll up to the top? Nope. It's just what Dan just barely emailed us and sent out. That's what it looks like. He just emailed that out today, or yesterday. Is that the part-time or the short-term rental? Yeah, it's the short-term rental one. Just kidding.
Yeah, you were on the right
You
one.
were on the right one. I'm just on the wrong one.
I was just waiting to see if she had something different than I remember
No.
seeing.
Okay, so mine was on occupancy. I know we talked about that, and we didn't really define it.
Yeah, so I was looking into occupancy on how Brian had does
Yeah.
it. So, it's through the International Fire Code, and the way it is written in our code is, 1 person per 200 square feet of livable space is how ours is written. They just had a big discussion up there of changing it to, like, based on bedrooms, and it made a significant difference. Like, one to where, like, a very large house would be able to have, like, 3 people. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
we left it at the 200 square feet, 'cause it seemed to match better. And the reason I go with that, so, like, that's not like a requirement, but like for a commercial condo building, if, say, Dan Benson was gonna go do a fire inspection there, that's how he measures certifies occupancy for like a commercial building such as a condo complex that's not necessarily independently owned.
I like that idea. 200 square feet for every 2 people, right?
200 square feet per person.
Oh, per person, not
Yeah.
for 2 people, per person.
And it's defined specifically at livable space, so they're not
So the
using
garage,
garages and,
yeah, the garage and everything.
So 1,000 square foot, 5 people.
5 people.
Yeah, sorry.
So the first house I built was 1,100 square feet, and we had 5 people in there,
Yeah.
so.
And, yeah, 11 to 12 is usually typically a 3-bedroom
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, I would be fine going that way instead of per bedroom.
I think that would,
What does Brian Head use, Shane? Did you tell us that?
that was
Yeah,
That's
that-
what he did.
That's,
That's what they use.
200,
200 as
so
well.
like a 2,000 square foot house would be 10. No, yeah.
Does that sound good to you, Weston? Do you like that? You got a different idea?
Yeah, no, I think that's reasonable.
Okay. All right, then we'll just move on to the next one, parking requirements. That was my next.
Yeah, so I told him I'd look into that, so Brian has had a ton of discussion on it, and parking is pretty critical with nightly rentals, but specifically Brian had, but Parowan definitely deals with this too, with, snow removal and on-street, so they went around and around about it, and effectively what they've landed on is they've left the parking requirement based on just the normal housing requirement, so if you build a house, whatever that requirement is, but there's a stipulation, a law that says between October 31st and April 30th, there's no parking on the street. And then the STR code holds the owner, not the renters, accountable for those both for the citations. So the citation exactly for the parking would go to whoever parked there, but then there is an infraction put on the license holder. And so they use a 3-strike infraction, so if you have 3 strikes against your license, which one parking issue would cost that, and then maybe the next day it's not fixed, that would be a strike 2. When you get to 3, they revoke your license. So that's how they're handling parking up there currently. It's pretty strict, but we definitely, Brian had definitely is a situation where you can't have people street parking in the winter.
Yeah, and I think Parowan might be in a little different situation when we
Mhm.
have all that city-owned property in front of everybody's house, most likely, unless you're in a subdivision.
Yep.
Where plowing the roads, if you park there, you're still off of the road,
Right.
not, you know, so you can be plowed, so. So a little bit different area.
Could we at least say they have to park in front of the house they're renting, so that they can't line up 5 cars in front of the neighbors? And I know that's street parking there too, I don't know if something like that would jive or not.
Yeah. I don't know on this one, guys. I was hoping you guys had solutions.
I just know that'd be one of the main irritants to the neighborhood.
Yeah, if you, well, definitely, you wouldn't want people parking in front of your property, but if they were parking in front of the Airbnb they were renting, I would be
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the street.
I think it's pretty reasonable too for a short-term rental to
Yeah.
provide 2 on-site parking
Oh,
spots
absolutely.
at a minimum.
Mhm.
not on their own property.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on-site.
located on their own property.
In most cases, that would probably alleviate, in most cases, the place, based on occupancy, you would remove a lot of extra parking going on, unless it's a giant
Big
house,
confab or something,
yeah.
family reunion.
So should we say they need to provide 2 off-street space?
I think so, I remember when we
And
did
take
this, and I
bedrooms.
thought at least a minimum of 2.
Most everything has that anyway. Well, I guess maybe a condo, huh?
But the condos, so the condos up by the cemetery, they have a parking lot.
Well, that's an HOA too, right? So
Yeah.
they kinda handle their
Yeah.
own problems.
And then the condos across from the Lions Park, they have parking in the back. So, I mean, I just think 2 off-street spaces and then take off the bedroom part then.
Yeah.
Take off what part?
2 off, well, it says per bedroom rented,
Oh, yeah.
so just 2 off-street space, and then I don't know if we wanna put Like- city parking needs to be parked in front of the Airbnb, not in, I don't know,
Yeah,
in front
that's,
of
that actually is
neighbors,
good.
like any other cars.
Street parking only in front of the property.
Yeah.
So any street parking needs to be in front of the property?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that could be part of like, 'cause I think somewhere in here, I think it's already in there, if not, we ought to put in there like a required, like, you have to post a good neighbor policy that lists a bunch of rules like that, that's posted in the Airbnb. That's pretty common everywhere. We were just in Arizona and had one like that had that whole list of those requirements. Ryan uses one as well.
I thought I saw one in here.
I thought we had it in here from our last discussion.
I'm pretty sure we had it in here from our last discussion too. I thought that Dan had it in here, so. All right, the citywide cap. I personally think that we need to take out section 6 and allow ownership as long as they have a property manager, that can get here within, what did we say before? I think 60 minutes, they need to take care of the problem. And then just put, I think if we put a citywide cap of like 10% or whatever we decide on, that takes care of the local ownership requirement, and you won't get a whole bunch of companies moving in because there's a cap. That's just my opinion.
So I looked at this per Dan's, he and I had a conversation today. First of all, I don't think we can ban out-of-state or out-of-city owners from owning a short-term rental. It's like unconstitutional. But they've gotten, and I read a bunch of case law. St. George actually has come up with an ordinance, and basically what they say is like out-of-state corporations doing business in Utah, just like you can't ban New York corporations from selling honey in Utah, but they have to register with the state of Utah, meaning parallel analogy would be they have to get a business license.
Okay.
Whoever gets the business license for a short-term rental has to be the same person that's the owner, so you can't have straw men. And then they require that they have designated a local agent, and they have to name that person that is a resident or within close proximity.
Yeah.
In out-of-state corporations, you have to have a registered agent to accept service of process, to answer for the corporation, so there's somebody that's responsible in Utah. And by analogy, you can require that they retain a local person, probably a real estate agent, as their designated person. So at 3 in the morning, when the cops have been there 5 times, somebody can call that local agent who can come over and give him the heave-ho or whatever it is that's appropriate. And I would suggest that, and I can get that language.
I agree. Which we do have in here, a local contact person is an individual designated by the STR operator who is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and capable and physically responding to the rental property within 30 to 60 minutes to resolve complaints or emergencies.
That would be in one of the other options, right?
Yeah.
Could we do both? We could do 10% and get the St. George language?
Yeah, that's what I would like to take off the whole number 6 paragraph and go ahead and allow any, out of town, but they do have to have a local contact person. And then I think that we should do a cap of like no more than 10%. Because paragraph 6 is saying that we won't allow, if you're not a resident here, then you can't have a STR.
So take 6 out and add the language he's talking about and keep the 10%? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, the language that he's talking about is already in here with the local contact person. We already have that in this.
Oh, no, he talked about more than that. He was talking about state registering with the state, right?
Are we on number 6?
Yeah.
I would say take it out, because if there can't be any local ownership required. I think it's unconstitutional.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get straight what we're replacing it with.
We're replacing it with, so there's a requirement they get a business license, right?
Mhm.
And then we can replace it with, they have to have a local agent or a local contact person who resides within the community.
Yeah.
No
that can be
registration with the
contacted. That's it.
no registration with a state entity like you're talking?
What's that?
No registration with a state entity?
They have to,
Just a local business license from the
yes,
city?
local
Yeah.
business license.
Okay. I thought you were saying that St. George required them to register with the state,
No, I was using that as an analogy. I
like
was
within
trying
the
to
state.
figure out, like,
Okay.
some states have tried to keep marijuana dispensaries out, and they found that's unconstitutional, because it violates the Commerce Clause, it violates the Constitution. And then they said, okay, well, you can do it, but you have to live here. And they said, no, you can't do that either. 'Cause a lot of corporations do business in Utah, they
Right.
sell their products,
Yeah.
and they don't live here, and you can't restrict them by analogy. But you can, like an out-of-state corporation, must have, like, I'm a registered agent for a dozen corporations. Because they have to have, I was gonna say a responsible person, but they
So,
have to have a person that they can contact if they wanna sue them or they have a complaint.
so if you go to number 4, that's where it talks about a good neighbor policy, like Shane was saying, posted. A local contact person has to be there, trash and maintenance, occupancy, parking, and then noise and nuisance.
Yes.
So that's what they have to abide by. On total housing
houses.
units in the city, so you can't have more than 10% STRs, in Parowan versus how many houses there are. So,
How many homes do we have again?
oh, we did that last week, or last meeting, didn't we? 1,400, yeah. Yeah,
That's 140?
yeah.
Name, address, and social security number.
Uh,
Okay.
that works too. We'll hunt you down by your P.O. box.
I can, Shane, up in Bryan Head, do they have a different charge for short-term rental for business licenses?
Yes.
Do you mind sharing how
Yeah.
much?
Yeah, so we just did our fee schedule, so so if you were gonna go buy one today and do a new license, so you'd pay $151 license fee, which is about $40 more than standard business license is only 62, but STR is 151, and they have to pay for a fire inspection for 30, then they have to pay what's called an enhanced service fee, which is allowed by state code, which STRs require enhanced service of public safety is how we've written it into the code to meet that code. And that, we base that one on whether it's a condo or a cabin.
Yeah.
And if it's a cabin, that's like $530, and if it's a condo, it's like $230.
May I suggest getting that written in there too?
Yeah,
We don't have condos, but we do have condos, but anything new that comes on board, we should have a fee.
Yeah, it does say a short-term rental city business license,
That's only $50.
insurance tax,
So
and then
that would-
state and local transient room tax accounts. All legal taxes must be collected and remitted.
So you could put in the code, just required for all short-term rental business licensing fees for the license, and then when you do your consolidated fee schedule, you would put those different fees on there
Beautiful.
that are named to those, and then the council would hold the public hearing and approve that fee schedule with those specific fees.
Hopefully, I propose that you do that to send to the city council then, to approve that, or deny it.
To add some of that, I guess I'm a little bit confused here. That goes along with state and local transient tax, the extra stuff that you're talking about?
Yeah. It's a part of his business license is the enhanced, fee of $500 for a house and
So that
$250 for a condo.
to meet the state code for enhanced service business license fee, you'll have to come up with a defensible calculation on how you're basing that. And so, just for example, Bryan Heads takes the cost of an officer, an all-in cost of the officer, and a, like an average of the additional hours caused by them, and then they divide that out amongst the units to get that calculation. So to set that fee, you would have to have that by state code,
Okay.
which isn't, it's super, and I'd be happy to, 'cause I did it, so I'd be happy to help city staff come up with that calculation and that if you needed me to.
It doesn't need to be in the ordinance, it can be in the business.
It doesn't need to be in the ordinance, you just need to put in the ordinance that they would be required to pay all STR business
Yeah.
licensing fees.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You'd have to determine that in the fee schedule.
Yep.
Scott, as far as a limit like the 10%, is there any regulations that the city can regulate the percentage, or
I think we can.
or is that gonna be tied like to ownership? I mean,
No, I think we can limit the number of buildings, structures, uses, for a legitimate, rational basis, and in this case, it would be, we only want so many short-term rentals. We can't control or regulate more than that, and 10% seems to be a fairly widespread.
do you have to justify that by some criteria or some
So we have
that-
1,400 residences, so we couldn't have more than 140 verbos, right?
Do we have any idea how many we have right now in the town?
How many do we have?
Short-term rentals currently?
Don't know.
Yeah.
40, yeah, I thought that's what it was, yeah.
And like I say, if you separate the fees, the licensing where there are two different types of licenses, it makes it a lot easier to manage that number too, from a staff perspective.
So we can have 100 more.
All right, Shane, what language would you recommend putting in there for the taxes,
Where
the
is it?
fees?
Where was that?
It was gonna be underneath, 3,
3,
licensing and registration. I would probably just put it right after the state and local transient room tax,
our operation
and then do a new paragraph for that,
Cheers.
or you can add on to that.
I would add in there, meter reviewed each year, subject to all short-term rental business license fees, verification of insurance, tax compliance, and updated contact info. You'd wanna leave in that they're required to have a state tax commission account, which they can provide that, we require that. One thing we were talking about in this one, did we wanna require a pre-inspection? And charge for that? 'Cause
I thought we did talk about that and having the fire department chief, the fire chief wouldn't go in and do it, if I recall.
Yeah, we did.
I'm pretty sure we wanted to.
I know there was gonna be a fee for that.
Yeah, and they were gonna charge them a fee,
Yeah.
so that probably will need to be added too.
And you could do that annual, Brian Head does it every other year, that's required.
I think that's what we talked about too, every 2 years, if I
There's
remember right,
there's another
Rustin?
city that requires
Yeah,
it every
that
other
sounds
year as
about
well.
right.
And then you would also, that would be a new fee added to the consolidated fee schedule, 'cause you wanna recoup that cost for your personnel to go out and do that.
How much do you guys charge for that?
So right now they're $30. We've been having a big trouble with re-inspections, like them not, 'cause there's a checklist that they check and everyone sees that up front and so now if it's $30 and if you fail it and they have to come back at 60 every time after that, we doubled it.
Okay. So we could just add that in on paragraph 3 as well, the initial fee, and then, are you guys good with every 2 years,
Yeah.
Rustin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
And that fee, you'd wanna look at, your personnel that's doing that, make sure you're on how long that's taking them, and make sure you're covering that cost and not putting the burden on your other resources.
Okay. And then are we all good with taking out section 6 then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll take that out. What about the cap? Do you guys like that?
yeah. You don't-
sounds reasonable, I think.
I thought so too, I like
Yeah.
10%.
I do like it. My hesitancy is because I work in this industry, the administration of that really is difficult. It is, but not undoable, but it is difficult.
Well, I suppose we could go 70.
I don't know if I'm okay with that, but, all right, should we keep that cap at 10% then?
I was just, my suggestion, and this is outside of the, what we're doing here, but my suggestion is on that, because of the more intensive administration, make sure when you're looking at the fee, that you really make sure your fee's recouping some of your additional time taken there, so
Like the house and the apartment fee and
Yeah.
condo? Like those fees, just adding to those?
yeah, or your base business, that would be probably part of your base business license, STR business license fee. And people will complain, but I'm here to tell you, a place like Scottsdale, if you wanna get a STR license, you're in the thousands of dollars to get your license every year. So it's not, I know we're not Scottsdale, but like, it's not, these fees aren't completely unheard of. 'Cause it is, all of this is a big additional burden on your administrative staff.
Yeah, for sure. All right, anything else from you guys on that? That's all I had highlighted. Good with everything else on there?
I think so, I think we got a pretty good
All right.
start with it.
I think we made enough modifications that Dan can fix that, and then I think it needs to be brought here one more time before we take it to city council. What do you guys' thoughts, or do you
Yes.
wanna recommend it, just going?
No.
Well, you gotta have
Like, I
a
think
public
we need-
hearing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, we can schedule a public hearing, I think we're fine with that. And then when Dan brings it, 'cause he'll have it hopefully all done by the public hearing. Have a public hearing
Discuss
with what
it.
we just talked about, discuss that, and then,
Discuss it again before we make the
discuss it
official
again.
recommendation
yeah,
after the public hearing.
yeah. So Kelly, can we schedule a public hearing for that, please? Yeah, is there enough time? Okay, perfect, thank you. Friday,
Friday,
will that be enough? Huh? You're awesome. I'll give you some pie. All right. Oh, there you go. All right.
We need-
Reports.
Do we need to make a motion on that, or is we good with just
Yeah, do we need to
declaring?
make, oh, I think we do
Yeah.
need to make a motion. Yep.
I'll move to schedule the public hearing for the short-term rental code for the August 6th, 2025.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll get that done. Moving on to number 7, reports. Councilman Burton.
No, I don't, thank you.
All right, Shane.
I do not have anything.
All right, Seth.
No.
Weston.
Nothing.
All right, public comment. I know, but I don't feel like I can do that right this second. Okay, Cammy, perfect. Okay. All right, I just need a motion then.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you guys.
Is that a record?
38 minutes,
When,
actually 35
I was just getting settled in.